Hi everyone, my name is Marth and this is Loopforge. My solution to problem statement 1, track B. I belong to Team Hunters. So here is the problem in one line. AI can write code very fast, but it cannot be trusted to judge its own work, right? So it will hand you a broken code and confidently say it's done. But Loopforge fixes that with one rule. Models generate, but only deterministic checks accept. The AI writes the code, but real test and real command decide if the work is complete. Let me show you how it works. So here is the canvas, the entire canvas. So this is a visual control panel, right, where every box is a step and the arrows defines the entire flow. So here we have the node library where my cursor is right now pointing, right. So here are all the nodes which will give us access to create an entire flow from A to Z, right. And here, if I talk about all these nodes, so if I drag and drop it here, right, so it becomes an objective, right. So input is basically a node which takes an input from us, so we can call it a prompt basically, right. So we can simply, on the right side, the inspector, we can change its label. We can name it, let's suppose, prompt, right. And we can write any objective over here. Let's suppose you have to fix the color of my header of applications header, right, from white to black, right. Now here you can also add constraints over here, right. So how constraints work? So basically, let's suppose I know, like, my headers file exist in src folder. So I'll ask it that only make changes in src slash header dot jsx file. Do not touch any other file. As simple as that. Here I will be pasting my github repository, right. So any could be any url to my github repository, and I will also tell it which is the base branch, right. Now comes the another part. Now we have given the prompt, now comes the another part, which is the agent, right. So as discussed in the problem statement, we have 4 agents here, right. So each one of the agent has its own role, right. So as discussed in our problem statement, we had to build 4 agents over here, right. So you can see this is the agents node, and we have 4 options here. We can decide any agent out of these 4. So there is one criteria agent, then there is a planner agent, there is one executor, and there is one summarizer. So their name explains their job. It's very simple. The criteria agent will execute the criteria. The planner agent will be responsible for the planning and execution for the executor, and the summarizer will summarize what changes it has made, right. Now you can also add your custom instructions which you want to give to an agent, right. Now you have like all 3 options over here. You can choose which provider you want to pick: Cursor, Anthropic, or OpenAI. Then you can also pick the model as well, like you want to select the base model or the higher expensive model, right. So that's how it is, right. Then comes the command. So here is another node where you can also run any command in between your project, right, in between your flow, right. So let's suppose if I pick this prompt, I want it, once I give a command, it should run a command. After my prompt, it should run a command, and then once command gives me success result, an agent should be called, right. Then after this, I can also make it happen like a validator shall come, right. A validator shall come after the agent. Once the agent has done its job, the validator should come, and this is the heart, right. So here what I can do, right, here I can take a decision. Let's suppose I want to make a decision here, right, that how many times a validator shall run, right. So I can link it here. So once the validator runs, right, I can add all the unit test cases, any checks which I want to write here, I can write, right. Then if any validation breaks, it will run as many times as I have given here, the max attempts, right. And after this, I can add a human gate over here where I can connect it with the human gate where the decision can be taken by a human, right. And here human a prompt will be shown to the human, like either it wants to approve or not, right? Then at last a terminal we can add here, right? And where if we want to do any terminal activity, let's suppose we want to using git remote, we want to raise a PR on the GitHub of the changes, so we can easily do that. So with this, you are very much independent to create your own flow, your own journey, and you're not bound like a coding agent. Like let's suppose you have given a prompt to a coding agent, like there is a bug. Now at my platform, you can basically simply uh, reach to agents step, and you can immediately stop your process. Or if you want to validate something, you can simply pick the validator node and create your loop, and you can simply do the action, right? So that's how basically Leadforge works, and you can every time add a human gate anywhere in between, or you can add a decision node, or you can add a AI agent, or you can also add a prompt. So there are various features which we are basically giving you here, right? Now one more thing, like every run basically leaves a receipt, right? So I can click on any node and see exactly what it did, and I will be carrying forward the next journey, the practical overview of this application, to my friend Raghav, and he will be continuing from here.
So thanks, Marth. So I will be showing you the practical implementation of the whole Loopforge. So now I'm creating a new job. So as you can see here, this is a default loop. So I can also load a default loop from this particular button. You can see these two buttons here, export YML and import. From here also, if you have present workflow, previous workflow saved, then you can also import that from this particular thing. And when you have created your whole workflow, you can also export into a YML code. Okay, so this is our objective. So this is the whole workflow that you can see. This is the default flow I have loaded, right? So it contains of objective, then the success criteria agent. It will be running and it will be asking us if this is the success criteria or not. So it is a kind of a check in the whole front flow. So let's start. So this is our repository. As you can see here, patient managed system. This is our repository and this is our master branch. So let me just show you the different kind of modules. As you can see here, there are various services that has been written in Java. And let me explore this auth service, where I have used the Maven for the build for this particular Java project. And in the source main files, let me see an auth service in the controller section. This is an file auth controller.java, and there are multiple APIs that has been written. So this is the login API, this is the validate token API, and as you can see here, this is a summary written, generate token on user login. So let's say if we want to change this summary to generate token by user login, something like that, if we want to change here thing. So let's go for this part. So I'm copying this thing because I have to just give this prompt in the objective field. Okay, so let's go back to the Loopforge. So in the objective, here we have to give the objective like please change the summary from this to generate token by user login. And we also have to tell the name of the file, because it can be multiple cases, like which file this particular data is present. So in our file, this is the auth controller.java. So we can say we don't have to specify the path, we just have to say in the auth controller file. Okay, so this is our constraints, like if in case agent has updated other files also, so we can add a constraint here that do not change any other file. So we can say that we do not change any other file instead of the file containing the actual code. Okay, so now the we have to provide the git url, so let me just provide that also. So this is our git url, and the branch is the base branch from where the PR will be merged. So that will be, I think it's master. Let me just check. Yeah, it's master. Okay, so let me write that also. Okay, so this is our success criteria. It will work. As you can see, this is our criteria agent that has been added. It will be using the cursor model for the particular thing, and this is our confirm criteria, which will be reviewing our criteria agent, the output of that one, and it will be the human kind of thing. We will also approve that particular criteria that has been provided by the success criteria agent. So now comes the planning criteria. Based on the criteria that has been provided by the criteria agent, it will plan that whole thing, how to plan and how to execute that whole scenario. This is our execution agent, which will be executing the whole code into our repository. After that, this comes the main thing, deterministic checks. So this is the check in which at least one check is needed, so that our whole flow has been tested accurately. We can add multiple checks, and at least one check is required. So let me just add one check, like file exists check, like the file that we are changing, it should exist after the whole change. So this is our multiple kind of thing we can add. This is the exact path to the file, because there can be multiple files in our repository, so we should provide the exact path for the same name, because it can be the case like for the same name multiple files are present in our repository, so it should give the exact path of that particular file. So it's inside the controller, auth controller.java. So let me copy the exact path and it give it here. Okay, so hence our deterministic check has been also done. So now as you can see here, if our in the planning agent, if it get failed and it get failed to plan the whole scenario, then it will try to 3 times. If any time all the 3 attempts has been all failed, then it will basically stop the whole scenario and roll back the whole thing. So if similarly, if in the case of deterministic checks, if any check got failed, it will retry 3 times, and again if everything got failed, it will stop immediately and roll back the whole code that has been executed by the execution agent. And everything, when it is done, like let's say the check has been passed, then it will go to the approved delivery. This is human based. This is basically the human gate that we have added here, and here this say like approved delivery or not, all checks has been passed, approve or not. So based on this, we will improve the whole thing, and then it will move on to the task successful thing, and then we can it will basically push the feature branch to git, and then we can raise the pull request for the same. So now everything is done. You can see I have added the data in every node and set up the whole scenario. Now let us run the whole workflow and see what happens. So I've clicked on run. So as you can see, the objective has been done, and success criteria has also done, and the confirmed success criteria, a human gate has been added, where it is saying the auth controller file exists, where it will check the 3 basically success criteria. Auth controller file exists. The auth controller file has been modified only to change the summary from this to this, that have been added in the input. No other files has been modified, because these are the 3 main scenarios that has been provided in the input. So let us approve this thing. Let's move ahead. Planning agent has also planned something. So here is the concise method implementation, everything. As you can see here, this is the input that has been provided by the success criteria. This is the output of the planning agent, that what it is going to do. So everything has been written here, so you can see and explore that whole scenario yourselves when you are exploring this whole website. So this is the execution agent. It is currently executing. As you can see here, the data has been executed, and yeah, so it has moved ahead in the determination check also, and the check has already passed, like it has find the file that has been changed. As you can see here, file exists, execution has been done, the code has been changed. Now it comes to the approved delivery section. This is the human gate, as you can see here, And as you can see, one file changed, one insertion and one deletion, that like the one summary has been updated with the new summary that have been provided. So let me just approve this thing. So it will say the task completed successfully. And as you can see here, the base branch is master, and the feature branch that is made, that is been check out, it is Loopforge and this particular whole name. And from clicking here, and directly we can go to the this page, the pull request, creating pull request page, and directly we can create a pull request for the same. And now I'll show you the changes that has been updated in this pull request. As you can see here, we have updated the generate token by user login from generated token on user login. So definitely this is good. And it provides and it's resolve our all use cases, as Samarth has already told in the introduction. And from here definitely we can merge our pull request. Now our whole task is completed. Yeah, so this is our whole project. Thank you very much for the this thing. Yeah, bye bye.